Hey guys, this is Stunner Emily Jaye, and you're watching the Fans View podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fans View podcast. This week, super excited to welcome in someone that I didn't think we were going to get, but lo and behold, here she is. We have independent wrestling superstar Emily Jaye on the podcast. Emily, how are you doing tonight?
I'm so good. I hope you are as well.
Hey, no complaints. I'm here with you, right?
What else more could you ask for? Come on now.
I mean, you got me. I am so bad at small talk. I am just going to jump right into this thing.
Yay.
Obviously, you are tearing up the indie scene right now, out there making a name for yourself. When would you say that you kind of caught the wrestling bug? When did you become a fan?
So I caught the bug when I was it was around 2008. My first interaction with wrestling was seeing Maria Kanellis's Playboy offer, and that's how Maria became my favorite wrestler. But after Maria left, I lost love for wrestling, but then it immediately came back during the Divas Evolution. So I'm like, okay, I see these girls out here working. So the Bella twins were a really big one for me. Even though people don't like her, Eva Marie was my girl. I loved Eva Marie. That was my girl right there.
That is
I used to have a Stan account, and literally my old @name on Stan Twitter was all Red Ambrose because I was a real one out there, guys.
I love that. OG out there, huh?
GOG.
All right, all read everything. I got to be honest with you. I've interviewed a lot of people, asked them who they were, a fan of. Eva Marie has not come up yet. So you are an individual.
She's my girl. What can you say?
Hey, she's a sweetheart too, so you couldn't have picked a better one. So when did, obviously you became a fan in about 08, when did stepping in the ring kind of seem like something that might be attainable for you?
So back in middle school, people were not the nicest to me. You would think, I was a cheerleader in all of middle school, all of high school. People are gonna be nice. No, they're rude. And I would go to school in wrestling t-shirts, and I would get bullied pretty much and made fun of for wearing wrestling shirts. And I'm like, what the heck? Why are we making fun of shirts and somebody liking something? So my freshman year of high school, I was a varsity cheerleader. I was like, you know what? I think I should prove everybody wrong and step my little happy butt in that ring and give people something to actually talk about.
I like it. Where did you train?
So I trained at Flatbacks Wrestling School in Florida with Sean Spears and Tyler Breeze.
Okay.
That was the most grueling 2.5 months of my entire life. I've never hit an all-time low in mental health, but also they broke me down to build me back up.
Right.
I could not choose a better school because they made sure that they broke me down, but they're gonna shape me into who I want to be.
Right. Right. So, like I said in your intro, you are a road warrior. I know you were just in New Jersey recently. Obviously,
Yes.
you work in Florida, North Carolina. Where are some of your favorite places to work, in the country?
So I love working New Jersey. I'm always there. It's always a 7.5 hour car ride to and from. That is a long drive to do when you're by yourself, but my fans know me very well, and there's this one fan, Randall. He will always bring me a 4-pack of White Monsters to the show, and I'm like, "You are a real one." I love New Jersey. Everybody thinks I'm from North Carolina. I'm not from North Carolina, but I love wrestling the Carolinas. I loved working Texas. I worked Texas once for Mission Pro, and that was an amazing experience. And then this past year, I actually got to wrestle in California, which was a major big check mark. I love California. It was amazing.
Right, right. Is there like specific promotions that you like working for? Not more than others. Again, I don't want to disrespect any of the promotions that you work with, but are there like some specifics that like come to mind immediately?
So I love working BRCW in Florida, Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. Love
Right.
them. They let me be in a battle royal last year, and I got killed by Miss Deanna Prazo and Kylan King. They killed me, but love them. I love working for them. They're amazing. I love working for Dreamwave. Dreamwave is an amazing company. And when I tell you, I probably had one of my best matches when I was tagging with Danny Moe against the Halo Twins back in April. That was one of my favorite matches. And yeah.
That is that is awesome. So on the flip side of that, and we don't have to name them, but do you have any indie promotion horror stories? Any creepy promoters?
Yes, I think always the good one is not getting paid. That one's always my favorite one. Always the
Always.
best one, not getting paid. It's a great time. Or like getting short on your pay. And I'm like, guys, like I did not just drive all this way to not get paid at all.
You mean you didn't want to drive 8 hours to New Jersey to work for a hot dog?
Hot dog and a handshake, guys. Hot dog and a
What would you say, being the road warrior that you are, what would you say is kind of like the most difficult part of being an independent wrestler? Is it that travel?
Oh my god, it's the travel. It's the travel. Like, there's some days where normally I'll do a little overview of what I did this past weekend. So, I worked a 9-hour shift and then drove immediately after the shift 7.5 hours to Jersey. Thankfully, I had a hotel that night, but I stayed in the hotel, went to the show, had to drive 7.5 hours back home, got home at around 4 a.m., had to be up for work at 5. Oh, definitely the travel.
Wow.
Yeah.
So with travel being the worst, is creepy fans gonna have to fall in as the number two?
Yeah, like, they're wild.
How often do you have fans like bring like weird crap for you to sign? Has anybody ever brought you your OnlyFans pictures?
Surprisingly not, 'cause when I tell you if somebody pulled up with that, I'd be like, "It's you're actually getting charged $50. Sorry." But,
She
like,
didn't say she wouldn't sign it though, guys. She just said it's gonna be
so
extra.
you're gonna pay me $50. But I think the weirdest one I've encountered is, like, I have fans that'll, like, be weird to me in person, like, so weird, and then, like, I get tagged in something on, like, on Instagram or Twitter, and I'm like, "Oh, let me go look," because I don't care what anyone says, we see everything. I just had this happen on Twitter today where people are like, "Oh my god, she liked it," and they didn't tag me because the thing is, we see everything. Like, it's the funniest thing. And so, like, what I'll do when I'm bored, like, I'll go through, like, my tagged and, like, click on the person's account and, like, just stalk their profile and see what they're posting. 'Cause I promise I'm not crazy, guys, but, like, it's just a thing that I do when I'm bored.
Gosh, that's
Like,
fantastic.
I went on this person's account, and it is just the most out of pocket pictures of me, and I said, "What's going on?" And it has, like, the most absurd captions, and I'm like
My gosh.
I was like, "Oh, okay."
I can't imagine what it's like to be an attractive woman on the independent scene because woof. I've been in those convention lines. Like I've heard the conversations that go on. You know, I'm no angel over here, but my God.
Yeah, it's really weird.
What would you say other than dodging stalkers and hot dogs and handshakes? What's the biggest lesson you think you've learned so far? Because obviously you're very young in your career still. But what do you think is one of the biggest lessons you've learned so far from spending so much time on?
To not listen to what everybody says. Like, people can say one thing, and I've had, like that's the good thing about long car rides. You
Right.
get real in your head real fast. But, I'll go and, I'll think I'll have, the worst match, and I'll, hear somebody's advice that they gave me, and then, it doesn't click in my head till, 20 minutes later to an hour later, and I'm like, "You know what? It wasn't that bad." I'll go back and rewatch a match, and be like, that was fine."
Yeah.
My thing is don't listen to what everybody says.
Yeah, you
Like,
gotta pick and choose for sure.
pick and choose your battles, in one ear, out the other.
That's right. Everybody's got advice. Not everybody's got good advice.
That one.
So, how important is it? And we've talked about the creepy fans, but there's the other side of that, and you've talked about some of like your super fans in Jersey. How important is fan interaction with you? What message do you have for those people that do spend their hard-earned money, to come see you perform when you're near them?
I love it. I take it so close to my heart because that was me a couple years ago. So I try to give them the same interaction I would have wanted when I was doing that. Cause I'm like, you spent your hard earned money to come see me. And that means more to me than the world. I have one fan who comes to WrestleCade. He travels from the UK. And I'm like, "Oh my god." I was like, "You came this far to see me? I'm gonna cry my eyes out because 'cause I'm a very emotional person, guys."
That's terrific. Because I can tell you, yeah, for sure. Because I can tell you again from a fan's view, because that's why I have this podcast and I call it the fans view. Because I like to talk for the fans, for the
Yeah,
guys that are going to those conventions, and it's so good to hear someone in your position say that because it doesn't take much to for you to go out of your way at a signing or at a wrestling event and be nice to somebody for 30 seconds and you might have a fan for life from that. So it's very nice to hear you, keep that in perspective because not everyone does, unfortunately.
I have this one fan. Her name is Josie. I met her at a WWE event right before I went to Florida, and me and her mom follow each other on Twitter. We keep up to date with each other, and she has literally seen me grow into a wrestler, and Like, just that quick interaction outside of a WWE event made her a fan for life, and she will always come and support me and is the loudest person in the crowd.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's not just like one of those deals where it's a stereotype sometimes to say that and it's kind of kitschy, but it's because it's true. You
Yeah,
never know what 10 seconds of being nice to somebody, would do for them.
exactly.
But we don't have to talk about just being nice because you are a heel, ma'am. You are a hell of a heel.
Only when I
Is
wanna
there
be, guys.
is there a preference? Obviously, we're going to pull back the curtain a little bit. Do you have a preference when you're working as to whether you like to be face, whether you like to work as a heel? Is there one side or the other of the road?
So, it honestly depends on my mood. If we're being for real, it really depends on my mood because I remember a show back in June, I had got my heart broke right before the show, and I said, "I'm healed today. Apologize to the girl." I said, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And, I honestly prefer being a baby face, but being a heel is so much fun because when I'm a heel, I'm just like, "I'm prettier than you. I'm better than you. I'm everything and more than you could ever imagine."
Look,
That's just
look
me.
at you turning into a heel right now in front of our eyes, and I love it. You can't help yourself. You can't help yourself. You definitely strike me as a natural heel for sure.
Everyone says that.
For
Everyone says that. I'm like, "Guys, I'm a baby. I'm a good guy. Let me be."
That is wonderful. And I can appreciate your honesty too. It's like, depends on which side of the bed I wake up on this morning.
Yeah.
So having said that, is there an opponent right now that's kind of a dream opponent per se? Whether it
Always.
be on the whether it be on the indies or a three-letter company, either one.
Okay. I will always say this until it happens. I have 2 main ones.
Okay.
My main one is always gonna be Billy Starks. I wanna face her so badly. Like, she's one of my closest friends, I adore her.
I like
Masha Slamovich. I just wanna get killed by her. That's all I wanna do. That's all
I
I
like
wanna
that
do,
one
yes.
too.
And also Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan's always gonna be my dream match. Me and her talk all the time, and I'm like, "Girl, we're gonna make this happen one day."
I believe it. I believe it. That's another one. One of the nicest people in the world you could ever meet.
I adore her so much.
I was there from ground zero. I was one of the OG fans. I think I met Liv when she was still Gianna, right when she signed with NXT. I met her for the first time.
I trust me, like, she met me when I was, like, baby, 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 baby. Like, she climbed underneath the table at WrestleMania Access to come hug me when they were not supposed to do that, and that's how our
Wow.
friendship blossomed.
That's literally that sounds just like her too. So that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Oh my goodness. So this is where I'm going to get deep on you here. I'm going to, we've been having fun and all,
Oh,
but this is
good.
where I'm going to go deep on you.
Okay.
First of all, what are you a fan of, when you're not out here healing on little kids and working in the ring? What are you a fan of outside the ring?
My bad. I like sleeping. I really like sleeping. That's my favorite thing to do.
I love your honesty so much.
I really love sleeping, and that's my favorite thing to do. What can I
Hey,
say?
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at
Or
all.
listening to Taylor Swift.
I'm not going to knock that either. I'm not a Swiftie, but God bless.
The best.
What would you say, and this can be wrestling related or not,
Okay.
what would you say is the best piece of advice that you've received? And obviously that's a very broad question, but
Very broad. This is, like, a very, like, hard question, but it's also such a good question. We literally talked about this, and I'm like, "Okay, I know what I'm gonna say." I have very short-term memory. I think the best thing I've ever gotten told is literally don't listen to anybody. Only take everything with a grain of salt. The amount of times I have called people bawling my eyes out because of something someone said or something like that, or, "Oh, this person and this person, blah, blah, blah." It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Just stay in your own little lane. Is gonna bother you, and if they do, they just hate you because they're not you at the end of the
that's right.
day.
That's right.
And I've held on to that this year especially because in 2023, I really cared what everybody thought about me, and this year I was like, "You know what? I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I'm out here busting my ass and doing everything I can to make a name for myself, and I think I'm doing pretty damn well at it."
I love that so much. I love your honesty. No joke, not even blowing smoke up your ass. I really appreciate your honesty. So I'm glad you mentioned, going into 2024 with goals. What about 2025? We're staring down the barrel right now of 2025. What are the goals, you're setting for yourself coming into this next year?
So for 2025, one of my main goals is to be out west a lot more. Another one is to debut on a national company because I did Ring of Honor this past January, and you never know what 2025 can bring. You never know where I'm gonna pop up. Come on, guys.
We
Going
need you on our TVs.
yes, please.
And finally, I'm going to bring this thing home with the question that I ask everyone. If you thought the last one was deep, I'm really going to get you on this one.
Oh God.
At this point in your life, in your young career, what does the term success mean to you?
Success to me especially is just making my younger self proud. I could be wrestling on the indies for the rest of my life and not doing anything, or I could be in a major company. As long as I'm happy and making my younger self proud, that's all I care about. And that's success to me.
That is That is a perfect answer. Obviously, there's no right or wrong, but that is a perfect answer, in my opinion. So all the hard stuff's out of the way. Let's talk about what you've got going on in the next couple weeks. Obviously, we got the holidays coming up. I know you got some big matches coming up. What can we expect out of you, going out of 2024, going into 2025? I know you got some big matches at coming up at PWJ. You have some matches coming up in Greensboro. Let's talk about that. What do you got going on?
So the Saturday during WrestleGate weekend, I had my return match because I was out for a month with some health issues. I made my return match at Firestar Pro Wrestling at Boxcar 9 against Leah Knight, and she decided to pull a trick up her sleeve that I did not see coming, and that was Amanda Kiss being the referee, and she screwed me out of the championship. I had that thing won fair and square. So this Saturday, December 28th, me and my bestie girl Brittany are coming to Firestar, and we're actually facing Lee and Amanda, so they really can't hide from us now.
Let's go. Let's handle some business.
You already know.
And then I know early in 2025, I believe January 20th, you're actually going to be working with Brittany Brooks. Is that something we should be looking forward to as well?
You definitely should, because I'm pretty sure this is Brittany's return match.
Let's go.
She was out for 4 months, 6 months with an ACL injury, and she made that John Cena return. Wanted to kill her for coming back so early. But me and Brittany have a little bit of history. We have known each other for years. We were both a part of Stan Twitter, both a part of like the internet wrestling community. I still remember her posting pictures, and it's her and who was it? Carmella. Carmella and the
Nice.
Bellas. I will never forget this. But we have a little bit of history. We've done a triple threat before in IWE in Augusta, Georgia, but this time it's just me and her. Baby, it's one on one.
Let's go.
And the stunner always wins. The stunner's always on top. I know you're the center of attention, but babe, I'm the center of the universe. Come on now.
Let's go. And when will that be? That's January 20th.
January 26th at the Mecca in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey.
Let's go, people. Get your tickets. Don't wait. Don't wait.
It's a
Don't wait.
stacked show. Completely stacked show. We
That's
have
great.
Jackson Drake versus Tony Deppen. That's gonna be an amazing match. We have Charles Mason versus Steve Macklin. Yeah, this is a
Loaded card.
show.
Loaded. You being in New Jersey, I have to ask the question now. It completely blanked on me until just now. This might be the most important question I ask you the entire interview.
Oh god.
There's only one right answer, Emily. Sheets or Wawa?
Oh god. Listen, when I go to Wawa, I don't normally get like a lot of stuff. I will literally just get apple slices and caramel. That's literally what I get. And a white monster. So I always go with Sheets because I'm closer to it.
That breaks my heart. I liked you right up until that point.
Come on now. It's just because I've never experienced like Wawa like food.
Legit, like, I'm fat, so I can drink this stuff. You probably can't. But Wawa chocolate milk, I would literally sell my mother for a gallon of Wawa chocolate milk. Like, no joke. No joke. Just saying. Listen, I'm a fat guy. You can take my word for it. All right. I wouldn't steer you wrong. And actually, you know what? That was going to be the last question, but it's officially Royal Rumble season. So I have to ask you, let's go back into Stan mode. Who's your pick for the Rumble?
Oh god. If Liv wasn't champion, I would say Liv because that's my number one guy right
Naturally,
there.
obviously.
God. I'm thinking Dakota Kai.
I like it. That's a dark horse.
I
There
love
you go. Do you have a pick for the men's Rumble?
I'll bring it back to my Stan Twitter days. I'll say Finn Balor.
Okay. That's another dark horse. I don't know why. I was expecting you to be a Cena mark. I see it in you.
Listen, I was an Ambrose /
Okay.
Moxley. Like,
Okay.
Ambrose was my boy.
Okay. All right. Respect. Well, this has been a freaking blast. I am so glad that we got to do this. I know you're pretty specific and choosy about who you do interviews with, so I'm so glad that you chose the fans view.
Yes.
Where can people get a hold of you if they want to troll you, try to
Yeah.
buy your gear, your feet pictures, things like that?
You can find me on all social media platforms at Emily Jaye Pro.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we thank you. Seriously, all jokes aside, Emily, we're so glad you came. This was such a fun interview. Oh, there's so much more we could go into. I want to hear so many creepy fan stories, but for now, we're gonna let you go. But 2025, we have to have you back on to just talk
Course.
just craziness.
More crazy, weird fan interactions.
Yeah, and you're spending time in New Jersey, so I'm sure you're gonna have so many more of them. We're definitely gonna have to do it again, though, Emily. Thank you, guys. Go check her out in Greensboro, in New Jersey, on social media. Go show her some love. I can vouch for her. She's not just blowing smoke up all of our asses. She's a sweetheart who will also kick your ass in the ring.
Sweetest
So
bitch you'll ever meet.
there you go. She said it, not me. Let's just be, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Emily, we love you here at the Fans View.
Thank
Until
you.
next time, guys, call your mom. We'll see you next week.
If you haven't liked or subscribed, you're going to be joking me.